do that for a brunch show. Before I get into the show, I said, look, before we, I'm going to make dishes that are going to use the products. I mean, I'm sorry, I tell you, I'm going to highlight the products that I'm using, except there's one product I have to talk about. I'm not using it, but I have to let you know about it before we go on. And then I bring out the skillet. This is a 12-inch executive skillet, and I just show them the whole thing. It always looks clean, so you want to show them the inside because you can see from the bottom it's used. Like anybody can see. Mine doesn't even. It's worse. But then they can see from the inside how perfectly clean it looks. And then I say, how many of you people? I always start with chicken cutlets because I think that's the most relatable dish. If you say how many people make skillet lasagna, maybe one person will raise their hand. Every person in the room will raise their hand, and if they don't, I basically tell them, you're lying. You've all made chicken cutlets if you lie.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, we have. So I talk about the skillet. I talk about the composition. It's anodized. I haven't done it in a while, so I might forget. Anodized aluminum with a DuPont 2 coating. How many of you have Teflon pans at home, or how many of you, when you grew up, had Teflon pans at home? Because some people, if you're doing a young party, they don't have Teflon. Half of them will raise their hands.
I've had Teflon.
Okay, well, you're poisoning your family, right? And then I said, how many of you have made scrambled eggs in a Teflon pan? You're like, ooh, I didn't put pepper on it. What is that? It's not pepper. I said, somebody, your husband, your kid, your mother, somebody took a fork, and they don't want to tell you. And they scrambled their egg. And they scraped the coating off your pan, and that's it. Your Teflon pan is ruined. I said, because Teflon is sprayed on. So once you scrape it, that's it. I said, the difference with this is it's baked on. You can't scrape off what's baked into a product. So you cannot remove the nonstick coating in this. So that's different. That's the most important difference. And plus, I believe Teflon is being outlawed, right?
I know they're going down to certain specifications.
Right. Eventually, Teflon, I believe, will be, no more. So you're best to replace all your Teflon pans with something like this at this point. Then I say, how many of you have or know somebody that has titanium in their knee, and they swear that they can feel the weather when the weather changes? And somebody will always raise their hand. Oh, I do, right. Well, titanium, which goes into people's bodies and really helps them feel when the weather's coming, is going to be your best friend. You're at work, it's 4:30, and sometimes I say, oh shit, it depends on the crowd. You're at work, and you're like, oh shit, I forgot to take out something for dinner. What am I going to do? You don't want to go to McDonald's, you don't want to get a pizza. Call your husband, call your daughter, take out the chopped meat in the freezer, take out the steak. You take it out, you take it out of the white styrofoam, you put it in the skillet, it's going to defrost your meat in an hour. Then I take the small skillet, which is the same exact non-stick. I guess Roseanne's doing it for demonstration. And I get an ice cube, and I put the ice cube in. Here we come. Well, I do it in the small skillet because this is heavy. And I say, this is going to show you how your meat will defrost in no time. You put it in the small skillet, same thing, and it starts to melt right away. Pass it around, and everyone is really, because words don't necessarily
unless they see it for themselves. Sometimes by the time you pass around the whole room, all the ice is melted, and they're like floored.
Right. And this really is important, because I could tell you till I'm blue, your chopped meat's going to melt in an hour. And the first time I did it for real, oh my God, what the hell was Roseanne telling me this for? It didn't melt because I had it in the white.
Yes.
I put the whole package in the plastic, in the white styrofoam.
I never knew. I forgot about that.
And I was like, what the hell was Roseanne telling me this for? And I was pissed.
I really wanted this skillet.
So it's really important because you could believe me all you want, but
until you actually see it,
you need to see. So I do that, and that really gets them interested, I believe. And I always say that up front about defrosting the meat, because people are like, wow. And people have been at my parties and they're like, I have a skillet, and no one told me that. Then I kind of start bashing the previous host. She never told, not the previous host. She never told you? How could she not tell you? That's like the most important feature of this. And then they're really excited. So now I've talked about the anodized aluminum versus the Teflon. I've talked about the defrosting of the meat. I tell them that, in my mind, one of the greatest features of the skillet is the lifetime guarantee. You buy the skillet now, this is your last skillet you'll ever buy. You live 100 more years, this is the last skillet. talk about the lifetime warranty. I asked them, how many of you have bought something in the past 5 years at Linens and things with a lifetime warranty? Like half the room will raise their hand. I said, great, where are you going to return that? Because they're all out of business. And they seem to...
Linens and Things is only doing stuff online right now.
But like the stores, they're done.
Yeah.
So, I'm just trying to prove the point. This will be around forever. A lifetime guarantee from a store that may close isn't worth the paper it's written on. But this will be around. That gets them excited. I've done showers, and I've told the bride, you are so lucky. You're 23 years old. This is the last skillet you'll ever have to buy. Like, if you think about it like that, it kind of gets them going. Then I talk about the chicken cutlet dance, which I think came from Mary. How many of you have done the chicken cutlet dance when you're making chicken cutlets? And they're like, what is she talking about?
Yeah, I don't know.
And then I'm like, that's when you move the middle one to the outside one to the middle.
My
You keep moving them around. And, and everybody kind of relates to that. And, then I tell them how, we all, especially the Italian people I know, love to make lots and lots of batches of chicken cutlets. Nobody makes 4 chicken cutlets. And, the first batch comes out beautiful, and that's the batch that your husband gets. The second batch, okay, you give that one to your kids. The third batch is hideous. You give that one to the dog. And I said, that'll never happen. With this pan, the flat bottom, the even heating, you don't have to move them around. Every batch will come out like the first batch. You don't have to change the oil. Sometimes I add more oil, but, and I think at this point, everybody's really interested, especially the chicken cutlets. They just relate to that. Then I'll give some other ideas. I'll talk about the skillet lasagna. I always say, how many of you have made hamburger helper? Now, no one will ever raise their hand. And I don't believe that. I don't believe it. I'm like, somebody in this room has made hamburger helper. Because I think somewhere, somebody's made it. So I'm like, all right, pretend you've made hamburger helper. I can give you a much healthier, more delicious version of like a hamburger helper and the skillet lasagna. And you brown a pound of chopped meat or ground turkey or ground pork. Talk about the mix and chop. But I'm not doing this, I'm just talking about it. You would break it up with a mix and chop, a jar of spaghetti sauce, 2 jars of water. Tell them what goes into it.
I don't use jar.
No, you could use your Chinese food container sauce that's in your freezer. That's all.
You can use homemade sauce.
Yeah, I don't.
But of course, the whole idea is to
have that at my house.
Well, in my Jewish house, it's whatever goes.
Well, when you go in an Italian house, you're not allowed to have chef boyardee, none of that stuff.
No, you can, but of course, you're trying to impress them with the ease of it. Right. So, you don't want to say make a pot of sauce and then take a cup out. You want to just
you could just say in general, sauce.
Right. Any kind of sauce, and
or if you're in a jam and you ever make sauce and then freeze the leftovers, if you're in a jam. You need a 30-minute meal, take it out, throw it in.
Well, I think the reason you say the jar is for the measurement purposes, because it's 1 jar of sauce versus 2 jars of water. So, it's whatever. You're going to double. You could always change the wording, just
or you could use, when we all do sauce, we freeze it. And we freeze it in like the wonton soup container. So it's 1 of them and 2 waters. That's basically.
No, but it's an awesome idea.
It comes out good. And then it's the box of lasagna noodles, and you're breaking it up. There's no boiling of the water, and the ricotta cheese and the mozzarella cheese, and it's it comes out delicious. So that's a rich man's version of hamburger helper, because it's the same concept, but it's better. It's
healthier.
Well, it's not only healthier, it's fresh ingredients, and it's just better. So that's like 20 minutes start to finish. Then I'll talk about, how many of you have brunch, you don't know what to make. I have the most awesome Target frittata recipe. Is that the one you made? Target? And I'll explain the Target frittata. It's the 12 hash brown patties from Target, therefore the name. And it's, I believe, a dozen eggs, and I'll go through the whole recipe. And I'll tell them, the first time I made it, I was scared shit when I had to turn it over. I was at a party.
I burnt my fingers.
I had no idea if it was going to come out. And I said, you know something? I was scared. It was like the worst 2 minutes of my life. Never happened again. I said, I have 100%, faith that turned over for me. And I saw 3 skillets at that party. That's an excellent recipe. And then I'll go into the fact that, if that's not enough, how about you can bake a cake in here. Don't ever spend $10 again on a cookie cake. It's ridiculous. You get a Pillsbury cookie dough mix, or you make your own cookie dough mix, right in the oven. It'll flip out. The little 59 cents of cake decorating, and for $1.50, you have your own cookie cake. I am a huge coupon person. I always talk about coupons at my parties. I'll throw in, you have a 75-cent coupon for Nestle cookie dough. You're getting it on sale. You're paying 50 cents for your whole thing. I think people like that too, because I'm trying to sell a $200 product, but I'm talking about how I save $1.50 with a coupon. So I'm not just like, blowing smoke at them. What else do I talk about? So the chicken cutlets, the chicken cutlets, the frittata, the cake, and that's it. So about 3 dishes. I don't want to overload them. And that's really it.
Or a cookbook that we can print. Well, you print it and send it to everybody.
Right. Sometimes I forget to even mention that there's a really great online cookbook, but for an item like this, I don't tell them go online. I went to Staples one day and I printed like 10 copies, and it cost me a few dollars. But I don't think anybody spending $200 should have to go online and print a recipe. And it's awesome because.
So what do you do at the show when they buy it? You hand them the recipe.
My last show,
right
I had one on me, and I gave it to her right then and there. And I think that made her excited. In other shows, I've given it to them when I delivered the item. Sometimes I take the shipments and I deliver them. If it's local. The party I saw 3 at, I delivered all the orders because it was local. And
it was a good friend of yours. It was a very
friend of mine.
party.
It was a huge party. It was a lot for her to go through, and it was Marlboro. So what's the big deal? And I like to deliver the orders because you're networking more. They thought I was, oh my God, you're amazing. You gave me this cookbook. I handed them this cookbook in a manila envelope, and whether they used it or not, they had it. So I would recommend always have one on you, and give it to them when they buy it, or give it to them when the order ships, because it's nice. It'll cost you like $3. There's a lot of recipes. I think the thing that, in my experience, the thing that gets them the most is that it's a frost meat. I
have fun. And people also like, I'll talk about chicken parm when I do that. Like you were saying.
I forgot that.
And I say what you do is you could do everything in one pot. So you fry your chicken. Now you could just wipe it clean if you don't want the extra grease. You put your chicken back in with your sauce and your mozzarella.
Yes, I
You have the
forgot
oven
that.
preheated and you put it right in. Now you have one meal and it's in one, and you're only dirty in one pot. And you're like, oh.
And that came from Lori. That was not my original thought. The whole chicken parm.
I did. I forgot that.
Yeah.
Yes. And you know what?
Because I've used it from my chicken parm. And
Yeah.
so
And
it's like
when you
use it,
take
you're
out
speaking
the
from heart.
cutlet, you don't even have to wash it. You take paper towels,
Right.
and it's like it doesn't even have to go in the sink. I am married to somebody who is so OCD. It's not even funny. So to have one less pot to clean, makes my day. It makes his day. We just stare like, oh, that's the only pan. This is awesome.
Right. And they like to, when people are very weight conscious and you tell them that they can cook anything in there and nothing sticks. You don't have to put oil if you don't want to. You can,
That's right.
and you show them at the brunch. When I did the brunch, all I did was I didn't flip over because she didn't have a pan big enough. So I just went like this, and it just slid out nice on the platter, and they were shocked. They were like,
well, I put a platter
nothing was
underneath,
stuck.
and I literally it just
We have
came out.
the
glass. I put
yeah,
a
see, I
champagne
didn't
glass
have
platter.
anything big enough.
Yeah.
And it
Or go to the dollar store, buy
Yeah.
one of those. So, but when you go like this, or even with the cake, and a lot of times, like you get the cake you were talking about, you could have that cooking as people come in and they smell the cake going, and then you just flip it up.
See,
Yes.
me and Roseanne have
Are
a lot
different.
of different opinions. Like, I feel like nobody's
But I
buying
can't-
a
I don't-
$200 skillet for a 59-cent
She's
cake.
right, and also,
So I don't even.
I can't sell this pan without cooking in it. You can.
I only cooked in it once. I think that, like I said, everyone relates to chicken cutlets. Everyone. Jewish, Catholic, Puerto Rican, whatever. It's like a universal dish that everybody makes. So I think that that's the best thing to talk about. I think that the the defrosting of the meat, and I think the lifetime guarantee kind of gets them too. Because I've gone to parties and I've had people, I bought the skillet 20 years ago and it broke. And of course, then I step up to the plate. Oh, call me. And then I spend the next month getting them a new skillet. I don't know them. They don't buy anything from me, but I feel like it's my duty. And I just replaced a skillet and a 10-inch saute pan for somebody that was 20 years old. She didn't buy a thing from me.
I can't imagine. That's
But I did
phenomenal.
it. But I called up. They tracked it down.
Guess what? But now you have a valued customer.
That's
because
what
But
she's
even
gonna-
if I don't,
And more often, now that you know, Pampered Chef stands behind
Right,
you.
I wanted to see for myself. She didn't know who her host was. She didn't know anything. I called up. It was like a half hour on the phone. We did it, and I'm like, oh my God, you got $300 worth of new stuff, And she thanked me by not
They
buying
send the
anything.
old stuff back. They want
She
it.
had to send the old stuff
Right.
back, but she had it for 20 years. I mean, how would you like, that's awesome. I had the bride for the last bridal shower sent me a picture. She had a teeny little, I couldn't even say it. It was a teeny little nip. I had to go back. And, we did it. I took care of her. I also recommend take care of all your customers' returns. That's my feeling.
That's
Always.
a very smart thing.
Even if it's a $2 cookbook, I do it. Even though they can do it online, something like this, you better believe I'm returning it for them because they're going to screw it up. Or, I want them to remember that I did it.
Does it have to be in the box that came in?
Oh, no.
You go to the post office and get something or whatever.
They can go online I could say, just go online and do the online return. I've never said that to anybody. I do it myself. I probably sit there and curse. I'm going to do this. But I do it. And then, a week later, did you get your new item? And they did. And hopefully they'll remember that, And I always tell them, are they going to do that for you linens and things? When you don't like it, are they going to handle your return? You're going to wait online for 25 people. So stress, the fact that it's lifetime guarantee, that you're there to return it for them. Hold on to your receipt. Call me in 12 years. If I'm still alive, I'll do it for you. And, I don't know. And I'm not going to lie, I think a lot depends on your crowd too. If you're going to go to a crowd of 25 girls that are 22, you're probably not going to sell one. You need.
It's a certain demographic.
Well, it is. I think mothers with children, it helps because it's a big skillet. I remember when you came with me to that bridal shower and that older woman.
That was
an older woman, like 75, bought it, and I was really surprised. But I think that for the most part, you have to know who's in your audience. And the last party I did, which was for Lisa's sister, I wasn't using it. I wasn't even going to bring it. And I did a party for my best friend's sister, and I knew everybody at the party kind of had money to spend. I said, I got to talk about it. If they want it, they will buy it. And I think I sold 2 or 3 of them that day because $200 to them meant nothing.
Right.
I hate to put it all to money, but let's face it, it's expensive.
Right, if people can't afford it,
Right.
they could want it, but they're not
but then
gonna
you
be
get
able
a
to buy
booking
it.
out
But they might not do that either.
Exactly.
See, me and Roseanne are a little different. I'm all about the sales. I am. I want the
She's
immediate
all about
gratification of the sale.
I'm all about, she's right.
I am. I mean, look, if I could talk somebody into not buying it and giving me a party, I will. There's some people, they have the money. They just want the item. They can't. Believe me, the person who bought this at my last party, I'm sure I mentioned, she don't care. She has money to burn. She just wanted the skillet. Maybe she'll do a party for something else. But you kind of have to know. Sometimes you don't know. But if you do know, if you're at a party of senior citizens, probably they're not going to, want this. So kind of, get to know your audience. My last party, 3 people at that party had the skillet that I had sold to them. So you better believe I told them ahead of time, when I bring this out, you better ooh and ah. And the host herself had it. She bought it for me. And as soon as I started talking about it, she just backed up everything I said. So are they going to believe me or are they going to believe her? They all believed her, and that's why more people bought it. So that's important too. Anything else? Let's see. That's it, really. I mean, I don't talk about it for very long because it's not part of my show, so I don't want to bore them. I want them to just look at it and move on. Maybe have it in their head they want it, and if they do want it, they've decided at that moment they want it.
So the rest of the night, then you won't talk about the cookware. That's your cookware
No,
segment.
I don't talk about. I've never talked about the grow pan. I don't even have the double. I have the single. I only talk about this. I've had some people buy the 8-inch saute pan. Maybe this was too expensive. I've never talked about sterling, stainless. I mean, but I had somebody buy this in stainless. Clearly, it wasn't me. She wanted it. I didn't do anything to influence her. I only talk about this one. I don't have a stainless, so what can I say about it? Like this one, I use like you. I use it every
only
day.
just started bringing that to my show. The last
The
2
stainless?
shows. No, this one because it's it's heavy.
It is heavy.
2, it's like what are you storing it in so that it doesn't get messed up in transit? So you know what I'm saying? Just stick it in a bag.
I just put a paper, a dish towel in it and then put the lid in it. But you have to have it because, and I pass it around. It is so heavy, and I stress that to them. Like, just feel it.
And you pass it around, right?
Yes, and then I'm like, feel it. You have to feel it, and it's kind of impressive when you feel it because it's really heavy, and it just speaks quality to me because it's so heavy. I show them the bottom. My bottom is like I cook too high on too high a temperature. I definitely do. The bottom is like burnt. But then look at this. I'm like, clearly I've used it hundreds of times and the inside looks brand new. So make them touch it, make them look at it, melt the ice, and once you talk about the chicken cutlets, just throw out 2 or 3 more ideas, you know? And that's really it,
But
you know?
she sells it because she loves it.
I do love it.
That's the
I
whole
do love
thing.
it.
She loves it.
I also tell people, I'm not gonna lie, when I first started, I don't want to spend $200. I said, I didn't have this thing for 6 months.
No, she like tortured me. Should I get it? Should I not get it?
I
Oh, the
did
lid.
not
Where
wanna
can I get the
buy
lid? Am I gonna do this? Am I gonna do that? But she absolutely loves this pan. So she can, you have to use the stuff
Right,
at home,
right,
go out and love it. That's how you're selling higher priced items. And I am not saying go to your shows and you're gonna focus your whole show on this. It's not happening. You're gonna show other stuff too. But when you really, she loves this pan. And she is a coupon. Like, I'm telling you, I could bump to her Target.
This was expensive
She's
even in
not-
half price for me.
She's
It
not
was.
buying a tub of Pillsbury frosting unless she has a coupon for it. We battle this. We've gotten off the
Everything.
phone before. We're like, we'll agree to disagree. But I got to tell you, she doesn't go out of the house. Her show average is ridiculous. I wish she would just, but she's happy in the place she's in, and that's all that matters.
No, I would do more parties, but I would do more parties. I wouldn't do 10 a month because I'd probably pass out in there. But I would do more. But you know, I've come to whatever it is for now. And if it changes,
Right.
you know, I'll hopefully it'll change. You know, we all
Do you
have
do
months.
all your parties you host in your own house?
No. But I don't drive at night in the dark anymore either.
Here
so
she goes. Here we
it's,
go.
It's a problem for
Here we
me
go.
because I had got into this group in, where the hell was I?
Oh, I went with you to that one.
Oh
party,
God, I was in Middlesex, but not
No, it was
Middlesex
up to
County.
87. It
Yeah,
was
it
up
was
to
Middlesex
87.
town. I was like, where the hell am I? And it got to the point I would make my husband drive me, come home, and then pick me up 3 hours later. It was hard, and that was the group that everybody wanted me. Everybody from those I couldn't stop booking parties there, and finally it ended, and I needed it to end because I couldn't go. I can't drive at night like that. You know, I live 2 blocks away. I'm afraid to drive home from here. So, you know,
But the whole point is, it is what it is. She's phenomenal. Her show average is phenomenal. And the whole point is, she sells this because she loves it. So whether it be the rock,
yeah.
whether it be the deep covered baker, or whatever
Find
it
you
is,
one
she
item that you
loves.
love. That's my belief.
Because when you speak
Find
from the
you one
heart, they
item.
can hear it.
They
in your
smell
voice.
it. I don't care.
Right.
If
Yeah.
they
It's like
know,
you're not
smell it.
sounding like you memorized it from the
You're a
computer.
drone.
And
You're
I
not
tell
a
them,
drone.
like, you know, it sounds funny, but this item will change. Not your life, your cooking life. It will.
Yes.
And I feel like this and the deep covered bake could change my cooking life.
Right.
And I'm a huge cook. I mean,
And
I
this
cook
stuff
every
does
day.
cook faster. Like I do notice, like anything that's coated like this cooks so much faster
Well, it
as
cooks
well.
even.
Right.
And
You just have to be careful. Even with something as silly as the brownie pan, you cannot cook by what the box says.
No.
You have to cut it in half.
Yes.
I mean, my mother, people call me up, go, my brownies are like bricks. I'm
no,
like,
you always tell them
you
cut
can't.
at least 5 minutes.
Yeah,
at a
I'm like,
time.
start with half. I said, and then work your way
You
another
have to
minute.
experiment.
check.
That's
Yeah.
the only thing I
Right.
don't like about that because I can't tell anybody for sure
Right.
what to do. Like this, you follow whatever you're gonna do, you're gonna do, but it's gonna just come out better, and it's just a nicer way to cook. And the flat bottom, and the oil isn't gonna tilt to one end, and it's not gonna warp. And they like the titanium comment. I don't even know if that's true. Between all of us, I made that up. I don't know
No,
if
it
it's-
is. It's the titanium
No,
chips in
I
the
made up the
bottom.
whole thing about
But
having
no,
it
that's
in your knee.
true. But that's
I
true.
don't know.
No, you didn't make it up. That's true.
I don't know if that's
It
a
is
medical
true.
fact.
It's
Two
very
operations
true.
on the same
It's
leg.
very true. She's right.
One
It's
day
true.
I'm like, I'll just say that because people say they feel the weather, they feel the cold
I have
coming. I'm like,
staples
"Ooh,
in my
that
leg."
sounds
No,
good.
you're right. It's
So
true.
like, just
And
like
I
you
do
can feel
feel
the
that.
cold
100%
coming,
right.
it I tell them the titanium draws the cold air out of the food.
But the
years
minute
ago,
you
they
do
still
pass
do.
that pan around with the ice, they're like, ooh, ah. It's the
Yeah.
whole ooh, ah part of the show.
You
they
must-
cannot believe it.
Yeah, take this. Well, you guys are new, so I don't know if you have this with the small pan, but eventually when you do, the small pan is
yeah,
that
the
still
small one,
that
right.
comes in the kit. Eventually, if you get this, pass the small
Oh, you
pan
got the
around.
larger kid.
With the nice cube.
I got the large
same
kit.
thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
because you
yeah.
know what?
It is heavy,
Some
but the
people
only
have a
reason
hard
why
time
I have to
with
tell you though,
actually.
the only reason why I passed this around last week is because I did cook the frittata in it,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted everybody to see. So after it cooled off, then I put the ice cubes in it and I passed it around. I didn't even take the 8-inch out because I'm.
Now, did
how
you
much stuff-
talk about it before you cooked in it or after?
I talked about it a little bit while it was cooking, and then when I put it in the oven. But the one thing you have to, this was my mistake. I got burnt bad okay, because the
This
silicone handle
gets hot.
Yes, it could go in the oven.
Yep.
So I had it in the oven, then I took it out to cool off a little bit, and she was looking
And
for
then
a
you did
platter
this,
big
right?
enough. No, I went to grab it.
Yeah, you have to. Well, you got to get those protectors, which I
okay.
don't have, but I
So you
yes.
put that in the oven?
No.
No, you
No.
put it on as soon as
Right.
it comes
Yeah, I
out.
do need
Okay,
that. I
so I
burn
need to get
myself
that.
too.
So
And there's
I
a
didn't
little one
realize,
for
and
this
I went
stuff.
to grab the
I just
handle
couldn't find
because
for
it was
it.
on the
I should get
stovetop
those. I
forgetting I
burn
had it in the
myself.
oven and I'm at a show, so I'm busy answering all these questions, and I grabbed it, and all 4 fingers
Yes.
caught the metal. I was like, they were getting me ice and were wrapping my hands like I thought
Yeah,
I
this
was
is perfect,
potato.
but this is
Takes the
not.
thing out.
Right.
Now, I would
But I sold 2 of
recommend,
them.
Rosalie, I would recommend though that you talk about it beforehand, because like if you say to somebody, you know, I'm gonna a magic trick, pick a card, I'm gonna guess your card, and they're like, no, she's not, and then you guess it. I think they're gonna be more impressed than if you just. Like, you know what I mean? If you do it and you didn't tell them what you were going to do when you do it.
Okay.
So like, I feel like if you tell them this pan's going to do this, and they're all probably going to doubt you because that's what
Right,
people do.
okay, whatever.
I think it's natural when somebody's trying to tell you something to be skeptical.
Right.
And then you show them, wow, it did that.
Right.
If you just do it without telling them what it's going to do, they may not make the connection, I think, you know.
Now, when it's hot and you flipping it over, right? Because you just got. How do you flip it without getting burns? Oh, because
Well, I
you're
do
holding
platter.
the platter, right? So you're holding the platter. How
It's
do you
kind of
burn?
like this. You hold
But
the
it's
platter.
hot.
Oh, I just
No.
spilled the water.
No, it's okay. I don't worry about the word.
That's right, but wait, but it's hot.
That's it. Don't worry about it. Here.
No, but I'm saying the platter's it's hot. So how
The
are you-
platter's
platter's not
bigger.
hot.
The
Right,
platter's
the platter,
bigger.
the
Oh, so your hands
diameter.
are on the platter when
Don't
you
trip.
okay.
I don't
right.
care about my floor. Look at
It's
my
just
house. You
water.
think I'm worried about the floor?
It's just water.
No, yeah, go ahead.
And you don't do that at a show because that's, well,
Yeah.
that would be funny. And then you're like, oh, what an idiot I am. And they laugh.
Okay.
Up.
But yeah,
If
just
you were Jillian Grant, you'd be like, up, not selling that. There's 365 more things in the catalog. Here we go.